Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you're watching us, and thank you for joining our webinar. I'm your host, Stephen Hartman with Stevens, and I have two presenters here to discuss software as a service and how its flexibility, scalability, and accessibility can help small to medium-sized businesses take advantage of cloud-based solutions. First up today is Ken Amon, Principal Analyst at SimData, with over 50 years of experience, including over 40 years in product data management and product lifecycle management, 10 of those years at SimData. Ken also developed guidance equations for the Saturn Apollo lunar landing program. And then Tosh Tambay, the VP of Business Transformation and SaaS Strategy at Siemens. In addition to Siemens, he has led technical and business strategy at Amazon Web Services, Intel, and Autodesk over the last 20 plus years. Thank you both for joining us. And all right, Ken, take it away.
Thank you, Stephen. And thank all of you for joining us as we talk about how using SaaS can level the playing field for small companies and for startups and be more competitive with their larger compatriots. As he said, I'm Ken Amon. I'm an executive consultant. I've been around for a long time, so I've seen a lot, worked in a lot of different industries, a lot of different areas, and have found this to be a great challenging area as we evolved throughout the whole world of PLM and how it can help different companies, and particularly today, as we get into SaaS, it can really start to help small businesses be much more competitive. Just briefly, SimData as a consulting company, we focus on PLM, trying to help everybody, both the independent users of the software and technologies, as well as the developers of the software of technologies, do things, and we provide research, education, and consulting. So get our spiel out of the way. So let's talk about what's really going on out there. The world is becoming more complex. The products are becoming more complex. They need to be more personalized. They've got more electronics in there. They're becoming smarter. They're becoming more connected. And it's not just a product that you're building today. You're putting things together that are systems, and then systems of systems, and systems of systems of systems. So things continue to grow and become more complex. And their customers are becoming more demanding. They're demanding things to be more personalized for them. And it's a challenge. So whether you're a small company or a large enterprise, you've got to be more responsive to what you need to do. You've got to have better and more effective development capabilities, be more flexible in your production, and be able to deliver service in new and more effective ways. And it's got to extend all the way across the life cycle and the value chain. It's not just one little area that you can focus on. It really is a large project and a large world that you're working with. And as that complexity grows, you need to be able to deal with it. So one of the things that's important in doing that is be able to come up with actionable insight. Where do you get the data? Where's it coming from? How can you make decisions based on that? How can you make sure that the right people in your company are getting the right information at the right time? And that data and that information is scattered all over the value chain, and it's in multiple different types of sources. And again, another complexity that you have to deal with. So it's another thing that it's not just that you've got a complex product, you've got a complex environment for developing and producing and servicing those products. So one of the things that we're trying to do is you've got all this information that's scattered around. It's important to try and create end-to-end digital threads, or connecting the information from various sources so that you can find it, you can use it, you can create feedback where it's important, and then you can create what we call a comprehensive digital twin, so that you have a digital twin that mirrors the real world physical products and physical systems, so that you can perform analysis and simulate them more effectively. You can compress the time it takes to do stuff, and you can become more innovative. You can free up your people, give them more time to innovate and design more effectively, and really have the ability to create the optimal solutions that you need to keep your customers happy and keep you as a business more competitive in your marketplace. So what are the challenges you have to have? You've got to develop and deliver products, whether you're a large company or an SMB or a startup, but you've got to deliver them faster. You've got to provide better service. It used to be the old mantra of fast, quality, or cheap. Take your pick, two of the three. That's not true anymore. It's really all three. So you got to be able to do more, faster, a better quality, and at less cost. At all, it's all continually being pressured. And the real challenge for SMBs is they don't have as many resources, either people or financial, and a lot of times not even the facilities that larger enterprises have. They have to be more effective with what the resources that they have, and they've got to be able to use their financial money and their financial resources to get the most out of what they have. So it's a challenge. You've got to be able to understand where you are in your value chain, and everybody has different places in their value chain. Sometimes you may be an OEM and you're selling to an end customer, or you may be at the bottom where you're just making a component and providing it to somebody else. But more than likely, you're probably somewhere in the middle. You're doing parts of things. You're designing components. You're designing subsystems. You're providing those to somebody up the line, but you also have a set of suppliers that are providing components that you need. And that value chain varies. It's going to be different for different companies, particularly if you're working with multiple OEMs and you have different end user customers. You've got to provide different types of capabilities to them. They'll have different environments. They'll have different requirements. So you have to be flexible. You have to be able to adapt to that and adjust to that. So you need better technology. One of the challenges for SMBs is making sure that you can stay as close to the front of the technology curve as practical. Doesn't mean you need to be on the bleeding edge, but it means you need to be able to have modern technology that can move forward and you can update and will give you the adaptability you need to be able to be more effective with your resources and be able to keep you competitive in your marketplace. Some other things that you have to do. You got to work with globally distributed teams, whether it's just in your company. Even if you're a small SMB, you may have people working with people in different areas, or certainly in the value chain, you're going to be working with people and organizations that may be distributed globally in different time zones with different languages. You've got to be able to work with them. You've got to be able to share information. So one of the things you need is some source of truth that everybody can go to, no matter where they are and what device they use, that is secure, that's protecting your IP as well as the people that are participating in the value chain, and that you can get it when you need it, how you need it, and get it back to the user in the context in which they're looking at it. There's a tremendous amount of information out there, more than any individual needs. And so what you want is an environment that brings it to the individual user, whatever their role is, in the context that they need to see it. You need to be able to support changes to requirements. Things are constantly going to change. You may get a good set of defined requirements from your customer, and then 6 months later they say, well, something's changed. We need to update this requirement, which means you've got to change your design. You may need new tools. You may need new skills. So these are things you have to be able to adjust to as things go along in the course of developing and delivering products and services. You need new functionality and capability. Technology does not stand still. The technology you use for CAD, the technology you use for CAM, the technology you use to manufacture, all of these are changing dynamically. And you need to be able to make the updates to that and adopt those new capabilities as it makes sense for you in your product development process and the type of products that you're developing and delivering. You also need to be able to scale your resources up and down. You may need to hire somebody, maybe only for a few months, for short term on a project, or you may need to hire a few more people, or you may need some new technology that you've never used before. You've come into a new area and you've got to do some kind of new simulation. So you need some new capabilities that you've not needed, but you're only going to need them for maybe one project, or you're only going to need them for a limited period of time. So you don't want to have to spend a lot of money to buy things that are then going to sit on the shelf and waste your capital resources and prevent you from getting the things that you need. So these are all some of the challenges that you see as an SMB. So why are we talking about SaaS and how it can help that? Well, what is SaaS? You're going to hear a lot of different terms. People are going to talk about, oh, SaaS is this or SaaS is that. But in general, SaaS, or software as a service, is both a licensing and a delivery model. It's a license model in which you buy it when you need it or as you need it, and it's delivered to you normally only when you need it, and many times from the cloud or from the network. So it's normally purchased on a subscription basis. Okay, the applications tend to be centrally hosted, and the functionality is delivered via the internet. So you don't have to build a big infrastructure internally to handle that. They're what we call on-demand software that's cloud-based or delivered on cloud-hosted software. Lots of benefits will come from that, and we'll talk about that in a moment or two. And then the solution providers, the people that are providing these capabilities, this technology to you, they generally are pricing applications on a subscription fee, generally monthly, sometimes annually. So you can manage what your costs are going to be, and they can be adjusted pretty dynamically. So the applications are generally you're using a browser, some kind of thin client via an internet connection, so you don't have to bring it in-house, and they can be accessed in multi-experience ways. So some user may use a tablet, somebody may use a laptop, somebody may use a desktop, somebody may use their phone, smartphone, lots of different ways in which the information can be presented and used. So it provides a lot of flexibility of how people can work with the environment. So SaaS, software being delivered as a service, provides a lot of new capabilities that you may not have had before. Okay, so what are some of the benefits? Okay, because it's delivered by the cloud and it's hosted, you can get really fast setup and access. You can say, I want to use this, or I want to get this software, and you can go to your provider. They can deliver it down to you from the cloud almost instantly and on demand. So you don't have to wait a while. You don't have to spend a lot of time waiting to get it shipped to you and then installed on some platforms. So you get much more rapid start. You can get moving quickly, and generally with very minimal, if almost none, IT involvement and resources. So it really removes a burden from you while helping you do that. So this fast startup allows you to onboard resources quickly. So if you've got projects that are starting up or shutting down, you can bring on users or take them off regardless of their location, because it's normally delivered via the cloud. So it gives you a lot of flexibility in where people can be and how you can assign them and use them. So you have the ability to grow that environment, what we call your product lifecycle environment, on demand as you need it. You don't have to get a whole bunch of things that are just going to sit there and chew up resource that aren't really going to be used by anybody or only going to be used for a very short period of time. And it's what enables you to create what we call a composable technology environment. And composable environments are environments that are very flexible. They allow you to plug and play different technologies in and out of it, allow you to grow them or shrink them as you need. And that's a real important factor, particularly for SMBs, to be able to only have what they need when they need it and be able to make sure it's flexible as they need to use it. So you can remove those licenses, as I was talking about. You can try and buy new things. Maybe there's a new capability that you've heard about. You're not sure if you're going to need it. Well, you don't want to commit to permanent licenses and spending a lot of money. Go to the solution provider, say, hey, I'd like to get a couple seats of this new software or this new module, and I want to try it out for a month or 2 months. You can do that. See if it's going to be the right thing for you. And if it is, then you can either ramp it up, add more licenses, allow more users to have access to it, or you can say, nope, don't need that, turn it away. You can also ramp up and ramp down as project needs demand. So maybe you've got a project and all of a sudden you need to put 20 more people on it. Now you can say, okay, I need 20 more licenses of my CAD software, and I'm going to need it for another 4 months or 5 months, because that's as long as the project's going to last. So you can ramp up, get that subscription for those many months. When it's over, you can ramp it back down. That cost goes away. Very important. Gives you the flexibility to respond to changes in your business, both for your own needs and the needs of the customers that you have to have as they come up with their changes and things like that. So this is one of really things, is that flexibility without having to invest in significant amounts of capital up front that may just sit there and not really ever be used or be used in a very limited time. It also can provide you demand high performance computing resources. Maybe you need to run some simulation. You don't want to have to invest in a high performance computing center, but you can get access to it via the web. via the cloud. So you can use those resources and additional cores when you're running a complex simulation and only be charged for the time that it takes to run the simulation. So it gives you the ability to play more aggressively, to play bigger, to do some things at the simulation level, perhaps that you've never been able to do before. You get updates. So generally in a SaaS environment, the technology provider will provide periodic updates, automatically download to you, sometimes give you the options, do you want them or not? But normally they're going to update the environment for you. You don't have to worry about doing that. You don't have to spend your resources. You don't have to have administrators doing that. The cloud infrastructure allows it to be delivered to everybody at the same time, and it really reduces your administrative burden. So things that you look at in that cloud delivery, global accessibility, get the information to everybody wherever they are. That elasticity that I've talked about, the ability to scale up and down. The other thing that's important is all of the cloud providers spend huge amounts of money on security. They have the best secure environments of any of the IT environments in the world. And it's very important for you that you can get that. They're going to take care of that for you. You're not going to have to invest in that. There's no way that even a large enterprise, a General Motors or an Airbus or somebody like that can spend as much money, for instance, as Microsoft or Amazon on security. They just don't have the money to do that. Whereas the cloud providers are really providing the most secure environment that you can really get. So initially people used to say, oh, I can't go to the cloud because it's insecure. The reality is it's probably the most secure place where you can go. And as I've talked about, you're reducing your administrative overhead. Frees you up from managing the infrastructure. You know, you don't have to spend capital money on buying and running a network, buying servers, hiring administrators and operators to run that. Really can frees you up from doing that. It's all covered within your subscription license and the managed services that you can acquire. Allows you to develop your secure collaboration. You have that environment to work. You've got that single source of truth. You can use that infrastructure in a lot of different ways. It's very flexible. You can do all kinds of different things with it. And part of the service is generally when the providers give you that, when they're linking into that, they've also incorporated into that a lot of help, a lot of guided technology, a lot of best practices, a lot of tools. That's another way it helps as you bring people on and off of new technology or new projects to help them get up to speed more quickly. They can adopt to that new technology faster. That's another way in which you can work faster, be smarter, and be more capable. So when we try to sum all this up, and I've been covering a lot of different areas, but again, you're dealing in a very complex environment. You've got a lot of things that you have to do. You want the SaaS to take on the benefits to help you out. Let the solution provider take on the administrative load. Get that flexible licensing so you can get things when you need it and leverage it up and down. And you want to be able to focus on your product, on your business strategy, on your customers, and not the IT environment. It really frees you up to do a lot of things. So the key takeaways I'd like for you to get out of this is you face the same challenges as any other enterprise, regardless of their size. Complex products, complex markets, complex value chains. You need to be effective in working in that complex world, and it's only going to get more complex. Reality is you just don't have as many resources as a large enterprise has to throw at that. So you need to be able to be more flexible and smarter, and you need things that can help you do that. You've got to be ultra responsive to your value chain. You have to respond to maybe multiple different customers that you're providing your products and services to, whether they're end customers or whether they're other OEMs or whether there are people further up the value chain that are providing their things to an OEM. Okay, you need modern architectures. I mentioned that earlier on. You can't get stuck in old technology. It's just technology and methods of way of working are moving too fast. You've got to be able to you don't have to be on the leading edge, as I said, but you've got to be able to move forward in a reasonable manner so that you can stay competitive. And that's also important, and be able to hire the people that you need, because they're going to be expecting to work in these more modern environments. So you want to be able to get access to and use the latest capabilities as you need them without having to spend a lot of extra money for that that just sits there. You want to create those composable architectures and those applications, as I was talking about. SaaS provides a very economical way to do that. We think some data and believes that it's a very good approach for companies really of all sizes, but particularly for SMBs and for startups. It allows you to get going fast. It allows you to have access to the technology you need, and it gives you the flexibility that you need to update your business dynamically as required and to be competitive. It lets you get things on demand when you need it. It makes you ability to ramp up and shut down. You don't have to buy and hold on to things. You can use things periodically. You can scale as appropriate for your particular projects is when you need to do that. Simply, and the bottom line is it gets rid of a tremendous amount of capital cost. It lets you put that money into the expertise and resources that you need to develop products and run your business, as opposed to run an infrastructure. So that's a really key bottom line to take away. So those are the key takeaways. I really appreciate you're taking your time, and I hope this has been helpful for it. And now I'd like to turn it over to Tosh from Siemens to tell you about what they can do to help you.
Thank you, Ken. That was a great introduction to the value of SaaS to SMB businesses in the design and engineering space. So thank you, Ken. I'm going to pick up from there and share a little bit about what Siemens is doing to bring our products, to bring our industrial grade IP using SaaS business model as well as architecture principles into a form that's what we believe to be more accessible, scalable, flexible for the SMB customers, for our SMB customers. I'm Tosh Tambe, and I'm responsible for our business transformation and SaaS strategy. And I'm going to spend a few minutes here with you going over some of the things that we are doing to accelerate our move to SaaS. This is a topic, the topic of complexity that Ken touched upon in his presentation. And that's very real. And what we've seen is that this complexity is not just growing in the enterprise space only for our larger customers. It's actually very real, even for our smallest customers. And that's because most of the products that you build and you manufacture today are multi-domain products. To be competitive, these products need to be smart, they need to be connected, and often they need to fit into a sustainability envelope to be sold in many of the geographies in the world today. So it's a complex problem. It's a complex problem to design and manufacture these products and stay competitive. And we've also seen the convergence of IT and OT methods and technologies, and the opportunities that presents, but also the challenges that it brings along with it. So we've seen this complexity grow, and as Siemens, being an industrial company ourselves, we've been very much immersed in this world of complexity. And through our software solutions, we've always strived to make this complexity, in fact, a competitive advantage for you as our customers, because that's how we see it as an industrial company overall. And so our portfolio, with its broad domain coverage, it's really built to enable you to design and engineer and manufacture products across all of these domains of engineering, from mechanical electronics to IoT and operations. So our portfolio is really well positioned to do this. And we've had customers of all sizes who've taken advantage of this. And again, they've turned complexity into a competitive advantage, really. Say, for example, Unlimited Tomorrow, which designs and produces prosthetics that are affordable, that are much more affordable and hence available to larger parts of the world. And that's a small startup as opposed to a large company such as BioNTech that was one of the pioneers and leaders in bringing COVID vaccine to the market. So very different size of company, very different. You would think very different kind of challenge that they are trying to address, but still within that the complexity is similar, and that's why our portfolio really has been built to address this complex world that you live in. But what we're also hearing from our customers, what we're hearing from you, is that it's not just the complexity that's going up. In fact, the change or the rate of change at which this complexity is going up and the rate of change in your innovation environment is increasing on an almost daily basis. So the innovation cycles were already shortening and they're getting even shorter. But this shortening innovation cycle is on a backdrop of much greater market volatility. There's a lot more going on in your markets, in the environment that your customers operate in, that you need to be very agile in responding to. So you need access to innovation that's instant, that's instantaneous, but also it's flexible, because the needs that you have in design and engineering might change based on how your markets are shaping, how they are changing because of the volatility. What we've also heard is that it's not just the small businesses, but even large businesses are struggling with having a lot of locked capital. They want more fluidity in their business because of this volatility, and hence they want more liquidity in their business. So across the board, there's a need for much less locked capital, and hence the way that software is deployed and accessed needs to inherently change. What we've also seen is you as customers have responded to this changing environment, and you're doing some things differently than how you used to. Now, some of these are evolutions of your processes, while some of these are significantly different ways of approaching how to solve the problem. Let's take, for example, shift left engineering. There was always more guidance that would informing the design process earlier that would benefit. But the way in which machine learning and other such insights are influencing design, that's a definite change in the way products are designed and manufactured. There are new business models that you are inventing and taking your products to market with. So product as a service is a developing model, but we're starting to see that getting more and more mainstreamed. The way that products get manufactured, that has changed. We've heard about the metaverse, but how it applies in an industrial context, it's really being defined by how innovations such as augmented reality are being brought into the shop floor to make better, higher quality products, I would say, cheaper and with more safety in mind. We are saying organizations are inherently changing the shape of these organizations. The world was getting more and more global anyway, but now it's also getting more and more remote as a result of the recent pandemic, for example. So there needs to be more flexibility. There needs to be more adaptability in the structure of the organization and how your businesses operate. And then finally, workforces. The workforces are getting much more, as I said, they're getting remote, getting distributed, but there's also more competition for the best labor, for the best expertise out there in the market. And you want to have the ability to go seek out the best and brightest for your business. So there's a change in which you're doing business, and we want to make sure that we are responding appropriately with how we build products and how we deliver products to meet this change. Now we've, as I said, we've had a broad portfolio of products and offerings, but going forward, there are a few areas, a few principles that we are really focusing on as we enhance our products beyond just its product capabilities. Access is the first principle that we are focused on. We want to make sure that our products and capabilities are available to more users, to more customers, especially in the small and medium-sized business space, and they're accessible in forms that makes most sense to our customers, to our users. Second, we want to recognize communities. That's one of the interesting insights that we had through this pandemic is communities are real, and communities can operate even in digital form. We want to acknowledge the communities that exist, and we want to enable these communities through our software. Collaboration is a big part of how users within these communities work together and interoperate, and we want to enable these collaborations very robustly. We want to make sure our software can be personalized. Although we might deliver highly domain deep and broad solutions and highly tailored solutions for an industry, in the end, every individual uses these solutions differently. Every customer has a different tool chain that they need to connect our solutions into. We want to make this personalization extremely easy. So that's another strong guiding principle for us. And finally, scale. And this scale comes with the volatility that I was mentioning earlier. It's not just about scaling up, which is definitely something that's when you need the scale, you need to have it. It's also the ability to scale down. When there are downturns, or when some part of your design process or say a region that you serve needs to scale down, you need to have the ability to scale down quickly and easily and not have your locked infrastructure hold you back from making smart decisions. So these are the principles that have been guiding us to take the portfolio that we currently have and transform it into an as-a-service portfolio. And the goal really here is to make our portfolio and our products more accessible, more flexible, and more scalable by building highly connected products within our portfolio, using some of the business model and technology enhancements that we are injecting, and also connecting our community of users that use these products, connecting them much more strongly through this portfolio of offerings. So this greater connectedness within the portfolio and greater connectedness within the community is really what we're driving towards in this as-a-service model for Xcelerator. And that's what Xcelerator as a service is all about. And we have customers who've already started taking advantage of this. I have a couple of examples here. Both are smaller customers, and I just took the cycling industry as a theme just to illustrate, to use a couple of examples here to illustrate. The first example is that of Rurok Industries, a small startup, but they build very niche, high-performance mountain bikes, and they're very innovative in their design, but they have many challenges that come with small startups, which is they are serving a global market. They are trying to design and manufacture with a highly distributed team. So some of these challenges that Ken alluded to earlier, they live these challenges on an everyday basis, and they still want to bring their product to the market in a competitive way. They used they're using our as-a-service solution for design, but for them, what made most sense was to use it in a hybrid form. So what they have are solutions where they are using some of the capabilities on premises, especially for their design authoring part of their process. And then they're using some of our capabilities on the cloud for that part of their workflow that requires connectedness, that requires their users to collaborate around their design and manufacturing process. So again, it's this availability of our product portfolio, but in a form that makes most sense to our customers is really what we are working on, what we're trying to achieve here. So Rurok is one example. Another example is Classified Cycling. Now this is again a startup. It's based in Belgium, and what they do is they specialize in very innovative bike components. An example of that, which you see here, is a wireless shifting technology. So gear shifting without requiring complex mechanical devices like a front derailleur, for example. Now, this is a very innovative product. but they're competing, even as a small business, they're competing globally and competing with large businesses in this space. They needed a solution that provided them product lifecycle management, but they had to have a solution that they could deploy without a massive capital investment. So they went the cloud SaaS route with Teamcenter X. So in this case, all the capabilities that they're using are being delivered in a cloud form because that made most sense to them. So both in the case of Rurak Industries as well as Classified Cycling, both are using software as a service model. Both are using capabilities that are delivered over the cloud. But in one case, a hybrid model made more sense, and that's what's enabled through our portfolio. And in the other, in this case of Classified Cycling, a full cloud model is what made sense, and that's how they are leveraging our portfolio. And this kind of goes back to three of our what we think as unique differentiated value that our portfolio provides. These are three key pillars on which our overall portfolio stands. And we've invested in these values over the last 15 plus years now. And we believe that in this as a service investment that we are making, we're enhancing this value. So as an example, with comprehensive digital twin. So over the years, we've developed a portfolio that supports a broader, more of the design and engineering process broadly, as well as deeply. We have a strong data backbone underneath it. So technologies such as Parasolid, JT, our team-centered PLM backbone, we really have a highly compatible data pipeline underneath this very broad domain coverage that we have. We also have the connection between the IT toolchain and the OT toolchain through our IoT technologies. So we have this very broad digital twin that's comprehensive. But what we can now do is bring some of these technologies that are in a connected portfolio form into many more solutions. And we can bring capabilities further ahead in the design process through this tight connection that we are making. On the personalization front, low-code development platform, Mendix, it's the #1 low-code platform in the market. With it tightly connected and integrated into the portfolio in an as-a-service model, you get access to a highly personalizable product and a highly personalizable toolchain. With our flexible open ecosystem approach, we've always had, again, Parasolid being an example, the ability not just to interoperate with our own tools, but also tools from other vendors, because we believe that our customers require that interoperability to succeed in their businesses. We are continuing down that road, and it's not just flexibility that we're providing with our technology elements, but also the form in which these elements can be utilized. So this option and flexibility between being a hybrid SaaS model or a cloud SaaS model is an example of us really staying true to our guiding principles of being open and flexible in our offerings. And as a result, some of these changes that you have made in the way that you operate, we have started supporting them through the technologies that we are building. With the tight connection across our domain technologies, as I mentioned, we can provide richer domain guidance earlier in the process to support shift-left engineering methods. To enable new business models like product as a service, our IoT technologies connected into our portfolio can provide support in the service of the product, not just the design and manufacturing of it. For Factory of the Future, we have augmented and autonomous technologies and actions that one can implement within our portfolio through augmented visualization, but also feedback that supports decisions within our portfolio. To operate more flexible organizations and for organizations to be more resilient, we want to give access that's flexible. As I mentioned, our as-a-service, Xcelerator as a service portfolio of products, you can use that in a hybrid form or a cloud SaaS form, but you can also access either forms of those anywhere based on where your user is, where your sites are. You can access it in a full desktop mode, but you can also access it over the web through a web browser. So that flexibility of access and capability, as well as the access to scale, we really think will support these flexible organizations. And then finally, in order for you to source the best talent anywhere in the world, we want to make sure that our as a service offering is available globally so that the right information reaches the right person at the right time, wherever they are. So we are taking steps to ensure that our portfolio is not just keeping up with your needs, but hopefully exceeding that and enabling you to do business, in a way that keeps you competitive in the market, even if you're a small business. And we are doing that with investment, not just in a new form of business model, but really very fundamentally in how we build software. So here's a very high level architecture diagram of our Xcelerator cloud architecture. And what you can see here is it's a layered approach where we want to make sure that we have we provide capabilities across our entire portfolio in this model. We have support for many different options of cloud deployment, right from public cloud, private cloud, through managed cloud, but also on-premises deployments. We have a layer of foundation services that ensures that all of our portfolio of products operates seamlessly. Things such as identity and security are managed centrally and consistently across these products. We have marketplace services and operation services to deploy these products into your environment more successfully. But then the key thing here is our app services layer, where we are bringing in the technology across our entire portfolio and modularizing it so that we can package it up in forms that make most sense to you, tailored to your needs. And we are connecting this technology and the data across this technology through a data hub, which is a technology that allows us to seamlessly connect schemas and data from various different domains. So a modular architecture and a highly connected data backbone. And on top of that, we layer our low-code developer experience. So you can take our products and then you can personalize it with low-code technologies. You don't have to be a professional developer to personalize it. Even citizen developers can very quickly and easily personalize it for their needs. And in this way, we can deliver applications which are hybrid SaaS solutions, cloud SaaS solutions, packaged business capabilities or PBCs, which are these building blocks of technologies you can add to personalize your solution. But you can also have fully customer-built applications on this low-code platform and partner-developed applications that you can bring into your tool chain. And just clicking in here on the app service, just to kind of emphasize the importance of this modular approach, is because we are now taking our very broad and industrial grade IP and modularizing it, we can create highly tailored applications to meet the needs of a particular industry and a particular persona within that industry. And often these applications can be cross-domain. So we're repackaging our capabilities and building new capabilities in this way. So you can imagine that if you're a customer, you can now consume these highly tailored applications for your industry and for your persona, and then you can extend them through low-code personalization using, again, as I said, technologies and techniques that don't require you to be a professional developer, but rather, even as a citizen developer, as someone who's a domain expert, you can go in and personalize it for your means. So this is the tailored approach that I mentioned. But what's more, for an SMB customer, this approach also enables us to create cross-domain applications that are right-sized in terms of functionality, but also have the right experience for an SMB user. Because we know that often in a small and medium-sized business, a user and the user's roles and responsibilities span multiple domains, and they require a tool that does not require them to have deep expertise in one domain, but rather enables them to work across various domains to achieve their outcomes. So we are able to deliver such solutions as well now specifically for our small and medium-sized business customers. And in addition to these capabilities investments that we're making, we know that it's also important that investments in other aspects of the technology and business are critical for you to succeed. So security is number one priority for us. And security is important for cloud-based SaaS solutions, but really where the Siemens expertise comes in is the industrial knowledge. So how do you take SaaS architectures and technology and industrialize them, really make them industrial grade in terms of the security, compliance, privacy, and availability needs of an engineering business? That's really where a lot of our focus is, and that's where we've really ensured that even our smallest customers have that industrial grade security and availability. And then finally, in terms of your success with the tool, especially when you're making this digital transformation, we want to make sure that we are invested in your success. And so we are investing very heavily in a customer success organization and expertise and tooling, so that through the adoption of our SaaS solutions and reaching outcomes with those SaaS solutions, we are there to support you through traditional customer support means, but also customer success management through services and through learning platforms that we provide as part of our SaaS offering. So to summarize, the three key areas where we have made investments over the last several years and which we really believe now we are bringing together in this SaaS offering form is our ability to deliver deep expertise and domain coverage that's compatible. Our industrial expertise, especially as it comes to the IT/OT integration, and then built-in low-code personalization technologies that take highly tailored solutions to really usable and outcome-oriented solutions for you in the organization. And that's what really we believe the Xcelerator as a service solution and portfolio provides you, is really bringing these together, connecting them much closer together to deliver to these outcomes. Because we want you to get to market faster by enabling collaboration and facilitating easy access to domain insights earlier in the process. We really believe in this highly connected community and highly connected portfolio. That's what we're driving behind. We want you to have more success, not just managing the natural volatility in your business and supply chain, but actually making that be a differentiator for you, how you respond to that, to make complexity really a differentiated advantage for you. We want to make sure that these as a service business models that you're exploring, that you're innovating with, we support those. We support those with real-time data that's connected back into your design and manufacturing environment through a closed loop process. And we want you to have access to all of these capabilities, to have access to all of this innovation without requiring substantial investment in capital. We want to reduce the need for locked IT capital while we enable you with more tools for innovation. With that, I want to thank you, and I'll hand it back to Steve.
All right, thank you, Tosh, and thank you to both you and Ken for sharing your insights with us today. For those watching this webinar, we appreciate your time, and make sure to check out the Xcelerator as a Service website, siemens.com/cloud solutions for more information. Thanks for joining us and have a great day.